Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, one triune God. Amen. We are coming to almost the close of the ecclesiastical calendar. The church calendar begins this year, the first Sunday of November, with the Kudoshito. Now, as we come towards the end, we listen to the Gospel according to Matthew, where we hear Jesus instructing his disciples. He is referring to the community leaders and tell his disciples and those who are hearing him, they sit on throne of Moses. So you listen to them and obey what they ask you to, or heed to their teaching and live accordingly. But then along with that, he warns them. As he instructs them to listen to the teaching, then he also tells them not to do as they do. I think this is something we all hear about. We have the English phrase, walk the walk and talk the talk. Walk the talk. Because we want or we expect our leaders, our community leaders, our political leaders, or our religious leaders to do what they do, what they ask us to do, or what they talk about, or practice what they preach. And we also see a lot of failures. We see many political leaders do not practice what they preach. Now this is a time for us to think about it. We are going into election within 1 or 2 weeks, or early voting has started. These are the times when we have to think, what kind of leaders do we want? And also, look at the religious leaders. And this goes all the way down to even our domestic level. When a father or mother instructs the children to pray and they don't pray, what will be the children's lesson? If you are grown up, you don't have to pray. That will be the lesson they will get. But on the other side, even if you don't tell them to pray, if you pray with them at a very early age, they will learn the prayers and they will grow up praying. So, and we, especially we in the religious field, always, I'm trying to phrase it in a politically correct way, we always get blamed for not being able to practice whatever we preach. Of course, on the one side, I admit the human frailties, and along with that, I also say that we, the religious leaders, also grow up in a certain community. So, in spite of the religious teaching, we also imbibe the values of the communities at large. So, we cannot avoid the responsibility as a community. That's why I said, even at the domestic level, these responsibilities are there. If I didn't grow up in a family with certain values, I will not be able to live up to certain values. Of course, we can see exceptions in the history. Because the academic learning we all get only reach a certain level in our hearts. But what we end up, or We might learn a lot of things, or we might learn about a lot of things. But what we are eventually comes from our upbringing. So this is something we have to really concerned about. And then he concludes his statement with one basic teaching. The one who wants to be great should be the servant of all. This is a message that we continuously listen in Jesus' teachings. The servant, Lord. Be the servant. If you are the master, make sure you are the servant of all. And he lived his life in that way. So remember, that is the call we have. And we have this as a whole church also. If the church wants to be the leader of the world, in that sense, we should be the servant of the world as a church. The church should be one serves the world rather than trying to dominate the world. The Christian history has been affected by the colonial history. Because, like one of the Indian historians who said, the cross followed the flag. And the American history also is not different. All over the non-European countries, or after the Middle East and Europe, in most of the places, the church went as a conquering power. Church went after the political domination. So it was always seen as a domineering power to be reckoned with. It was never about a servant power. The church was there to be dominant. So this is also a re-evaluation of the church's thinking process also. What are we? Are we to dominate the world, or are we to serve the world? So we see this teaching has its application at all levels of our life, whether in our community life, whether in our personal life, whether in our homes or the churches or as nations. Remember, we are here to serve the world, not to dominate it. May God bless us all. Thank you.